Hello, how is everyone doing? I hope you are well. I am Dr. Charmaine Gregory, and I wanted to share with you a recent breakthrough that I had personally. And if you're unaware of who I am or what I do, I am a stark nocturnist. So I basically work nights, and I have done it for probably the last 12 years consistently. And I work in the emergency department. I take care and serve patients that come in on basically the worst moments of their lives, unfortunately. But I feel privileged and honored to be able to help them through this time and just really try to make a difference. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for joining. Hey, Charmaine. Hey, Manny. Hey, Carrie Ann, thanks for joining. So, I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that I do to stay awake and be able to be alert and serve the patients that come through the emergency department. A few months ago, I'm not sure if you're following me, but if you do, I was talking a little bit about an experiment that I was running, and I was transitioning to basically plant-based supplements and making sure that I was trying to get myself to get off of coffee, because what would happen is I would get on shift at 11 o'clock. We'd have patient rounds, which would go around and talk about, the care of the patients and transition to care, and then we'd go and see each patient before diving into the new patients that would be in the emergency department. Of course, barring no major emergencies popping in between that particular sequence. But I would ride around, so I get there 11, we'd have rounds, and then right around midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, I would have my protein shake, which is crucial because I'm not really, I don't usually get away from the clinical environment to have a full meal per se. So I really depend on being able to have a really robust protein shake to supplement my nutrition during the time that I'm working. And of course, you need a lot of energy to run around the emergency department and take care of sick folks. So there's that. So I do that, and then right around, and then much like someone who works in the daytime, there's going to be that nadir in your day when you start feeling kind of sluggish and feeling kind of sleepy. And at night, basically because of how our bodies are constructed and the chemistry of the hormonal balance in our body, typically, at night you're supposed to be asleep, so your body's intention is toward that. So right around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock or so, I would get really, really sluggish and start to feel sleepy. Now, this is, of course, if there is not something critical going on, like a patient that requires our undivided attention because they're in a crisis situation and we need to get them out of. So I would reach for my coffee at that point. So that would be cup number 1. And then later on, if I had another low, I'd reach for cup number 2. So you can imagine that there I am drinking coffee, right? And then 7 o'clock comes around, which is right around the time when we do another exchange of care. And then I would, my shift ends at 7:30. If there's something going on, obviously I would leave a little bit later than that, but the official end point is 7:30 a.m. And so now, I get ready to go home, and I have had at least 2 cups of coffee. And now I am supposed to go home and go to sleep and recover in order to return the next night. So there's a problem with that. So the problem number 1 is I was finding that drinking the coffee later on in the shift caused me to have very restless sleep. So when I went to sleep, I was very restless. I ended up having to get up multiple times over the course of the night to urinate. TMI, I know, sorry. To urinate, and that was a little annoying because then I would not get the restful sleep that I need in order to be able to function for the subsequent shift. So there were a couple problems with coffee. I like how it tastes. I would always bring my my creamer that was coconut milk creamer. That's makes it taste really good. But what I noticed was the things I mentioned. So restless sleep, and then the diuresis effect, which is where you have to get up and pee in the middle of the night. So middle of the day, night for me, but day for you. So there was that. So I decided to try something different. So I started using this combination of plant, herbs basically, and so I would have it. It comes compounded, so it's basically like pulverized. Each of the items is pulverized and then combined into a packet, and then you can just add water to it. So I would have it warm because that was the intent that I have for it was for wakefulness, alertness, and so I would drink mine warm. And so I just started using that instead of coffee. So whenever I had that nadir, I would reach for this packet. I would get some warm water, add it to it, and then I'd add a little bit of coconut milk, or if I didn't have anything, I would just have it straight. And what I noticed over the course of, it took probably several days, maybe even like 2 weeks before I started really seeing the difference, but I started noticing that I did not have the diuretic effect like I did when I was drinking the coffee during those low points, and I did not have that restlessness of sleep when I actually go to sleep. So, and it wasn't dependent on the timing of me ingesting this tea. So I am super excited to share that, so now this experiment has gone on for the greater part of about 2 months, and I'm still seeing the same effect, and I am loving it. So, of course, I shared this with some folks, and one person in particular was my mom, and because she's someone who gets up at the crack of dawn, well, actually before the crack of dawn, because she usually gets up about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning and gets her day started. And she would normally begin her day with a cup of Joe, right? So she didn't have this ridiculous cup, right? But she had a decent sized cup of Joe to kind of get her day started. And so I introduced this tea to her, and she has been utilizing it, and she has noticed an amazing difference. So she no longer drinks coffee in the morning to get her day going. She does have a coffee occasionally just for the taste, and I do too, because I like how it tastes. There are definitely a lot of high quality coffees that are absolutely delicious, and so I like to drink coffee for that purpose. But the purpose of wakefulness and the purpose of energy, which is what I was using it for, I no longer have to do that, and neither does she. So I figured if she, if there were, this is the N of 2, of course, but I've talked to other people who have utilized it for this purpose, and they too have had great success. So I just wanted to share that with you, kind of give you an update on the process of this experiment, and give you some feedback and how it has been working for me. And if you, and of course, the ultimate test, night shift person, awake when everybody's asleep, etc. And it has been, monumental in my ability to function at night, in the sense that I'm not having a crash afterward, I'm not having restless sleep, and I'm not having the diuretic effect that I was having when I was utilizing coffee instead. So hey, straight out of night shift, just a little advice and sharing my experience with this herbal tea that has really made a difference for me. So that is really all I wanted to share, but I encourage, I see there's a couple of comments here. I'm sorry, I was not totally... Oh, yep, should be sleeping, absolutely. And hey, Tiffany, thanks. Yeah, I definitely, I know that you can totally identify with what I'm talking about. So, yeah, it's worked for me, and it's worked for several other people that I know. Definitely, I would love to talk with you more about it if this is something that you are interested in learning more about. But in general, I just wanted to share my experience with you because I love it and I would hate to keep it to myself. All right. So that's all I have for you. I'm actually doing a little bit of a series. So I plan on going live again and talking a little bit more about the protein shake that I am now using and the benefits that has offered me. All right. And so I hope that you will kind of tune in at that point. I would greatly appreciate it. But you know what? Until then, I am super excited that you did tune in today and that you are working on you, because I know you are. If you need any assistance with that, I am more than happy to provide my advice. And it is just that, advice. I hope that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness. Have an amazing day.